Okay, so here we are in ancient Corinth in Greece, and we are blessed to have Alexandros
Or Alexander.
Andros or Alexander. He's with us today, and he's going to give us a little few video clips as we go along here, just to explain what it is we're actually watching. One thing I wanted to bring to your attention, let me just bring this camera away for a second, was the hill up here. You mentioned this on the way up here.
Corinth. Acro means crest. Acropolis means the crest of the city. Acropolis, the Acropolis of Athens with the Parthenon. Corinth, the top of Corinth. Back then there was a temple dedicated to Venus, goddess of love and beauty, and the temple was served by 1,000 young priestesses, 17 to 23 years old, who took shifts and turns. And the temple worship was nothing else than open prostitution with the male. But don't forget two ports, Lehion and Synchrea, many seamen, and they would walk uphill to be with one of the priestesses there. But
so they were very popular with the sailors.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
They made a lot of money.
Too much money. And at the age of 23, they were retired with lots of money, but they could not get married because no one has the right and the authority to get married to a priestess of a goddess. So they died single in their riches.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So here we are more or less in the centre of ancient Corinth, and we've got another marketplace, another agora. This is the eastern part here, and yeah, the temple of Apollo is up here. As you can see, is a magnificent building. Apollos is the god of light, and very, very powerful in Greek mythology.
This is the so-called downtown. It's the marketplace. Of course, Apostle Paul comes to Corinth during the times of Roman rule. So most everything you see, some artifacts are Roman. And we know that he stayed for a year and a half. He saw great immorality in this city and great wealth, and therefore there was a great need for him to stay and share the good news with the Corinthians, and that's why God establishes a church, and there are 2 letters sent to the Corinthians. We have the events with when Paul stood in front of Felix, and he defends his faith. We will see the Jewish synagogue. There was a community of the Jews in Corinth, as in many parts of the world, since they have been kicked out from Rome. Aquila, Priscilla, Jews from Pontus, and they met Paul, and they did what they did. In view of these events, we have to realize that no matter where Paul went, to Athens, to Corinth, to Amphipolis, to Thessalonica, he realized that there is a great need for salvation. The idea is today salvation, to be saved from what? If there is a need for salvation, it means that there is a great danger we are in. People don't understand. To be saved from what? I'm okay. We are not okay. And that's why Paul shares this good news, and here are some of the places he visited. We will see the bema, the podium, also, where he defended his faith, and that's where Luke says that they beat Sosthenes, the ruler of the synagogue. It's a beautiful place. Paul did not establish a church in Athens because the Athenians were very, very God-fearing and closed to themselves. And they had been instructed by wise people like Plato's or Socrates, but the need was here. Too much money, wealth, immorality, deities of all sorts, Egyptian, Roman, here, there, Assyrian, Babylonian, who knows what, Jewish faith, and he comes to proclaim the only true faith. And this is the setting, but the background. He comes in the springtime right after he visits Athens.
It's an incredible thought, isn't it, to think we're standing on the very ground where many Christians met together here in Corinth. And to imagine that the Apostle Paul stood, well, according to tradition, not too far away from here, about 10, 15 yards away from here, on trial. And if you remember near the end of his visit to Corinth, he wanted to leave because he was scared. And so the Lord tells him, do not be afraid, I have many people in this city. And when you think about that statement alone, I have many people in this city, you think about the drunkards, you think about the prostitution, you think about the idol worship, you think about all the Jews, you think about all the things and all the different people that made up the city of Corinth. You think, how can you have people here, God? How can you possibly have people in such an ungodly place? Well, he did. Two of those people we know really well, Priscilla and Aquila. And you remember they were tent makers like Paul. And Paul spent a lot of time with them, getting to build up that relationship with them, probably sharing more and more insights about the gospel and the good news and what the plans were moving forward. And if you remember, they were the ones that took Apollos to the side and taught him the way of the Lord more eloquently. The point I'm making is this: regardless of where you are in this world, God is always there. And more importantly, even amongst the most ungodliest places, you'll find Christians. You will find people who genuinely follow the Lord. And I pray that the next time you go out travelling, wherever you go, that you will seek them out. That you will seek out Christians. Because I truly believe if God has Christians in an ungodly place like this, then there's no place in this world you could go where you're going to be left alone. God will always provide a way for you to meet fellow people, people you love God just as much as you love them. God bless.